Okay, so here's my review of Dead Rising Watchtower. In past videos, I have stated, for a movie that's licensed off a game to be so different and so out there from what the actual plot and the canon is of the game, this movie takes that idea and turns it around, does a 180 with it. Not only is this movie it mirrors the film completely, but it does it too well. Now, what do I mean by that? How can it mirror the game too well? Well, here's how it can. It takes every single little niche thing that happened in the Dead Rising games when it comes to weapons, boss battles, zombies. Just like we've seen in the game, you have a time limit for the entire days you're going to survive, or whatever. This one has the time limit too if the city's going to get bombed. Everything that you've ever seen in a Dead Rising game is in this film. Including Frank West, which I've got to say Frank West was probably the best part of the entire film because it's the only time I ever laughed.
Frank, what advice do you have for those trapped inside the quarantine zone?
Turn off your televisions. Put down your phones and run for your goddamn life.
Run where? The quarantine is sealed. There's nowhere to go. What the hell are you talking about?
Fine. Let me tell you something. Read my book.
Oh, Jesus.
Chapter 5, I specifically tell you, you can't worry about technicalities, okay? Screw the rules. You gotta improvise, think on your feet, use what you can, when you can, where you can. Maybe they shoot you down like a dog, maybe they don't, but I'll tell you one thing, talking to us ain't gonna help you at all.
This film branches off into a whole new story, introduces us to new characters that have never been in the games before. This is supposed to be around the time between Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2. But in between those two games, this is where this is supposed to happen. So you've got the guy that played John Tucker Must Die. I don't even know his real name. So you got John Tucker, who must die, a reporter. And he's just trying to get the dig on Zombrex and all the new zombie medication shit that is going on. For a 2-hour film, the only thing I took away from it is, holy crap, is there a lot of plugs from Microsoft throughout the movie. This movie was done on Crackle. It's a Crackle exclusive. If you've noticed, a lot of these video streaming applications and places are doing their own films and their own TV series and stuff like that. Well, Dead Rising is just a random idea I think that was pulled out of the hat and be like, oh, this might be a good feature film. Why? I don't know. When I first saw that this was going to be turned into a film, my first thought was, how random is this? Dead Rising isn't really that relevant. Yeah, Dead Rising 3 launched with the Xbox One, but I don't really see that much buzz around the game. In fact, most people that critiqued the game said it was average, so whatever. Dead Rising 1 and 2 I have. I remember liking Dead Rising 1 a lot. It was really annoying having to save in the restrooms all the fucking time. I don't know what it was about the Frank West character. I don't remember Frank West being kind of a pompous, arrogant kind of guy. They kind of portray him as that in the film. He's really sarcastic and really just out there with the shit that he says. It's funny, but I don't remember Frank West being like that in the game. Maybe because he didn't really talk that much. I never played Case Zero, so maybe there's something more I'm missing out. Fan services are everywhere in this movie. So you can be seeing everything when it comes to the outlandish biker gangs with the crazy motorcycles. You're going to be seeing the weapon crafting system, the sledgehammer with the buzzsaw, you're going to see that, the electricity sword, the guns with freaking swords or spears or whatever on the front of it. Is this movie any good? Is this movie worth my time seeing? If you like seeing video game movies, it's worth seeing. If you're a fan of Dead Rising, of course you've probably already watched it. If you're a normal moviegoer and you're just looking for a zombie film, it's no Walking Dead, I can tell you that much. It's no Dawn of the Dead, I can tell you that much. This movie's more slapstick comedy, but there's something about it. It's just like this. You sit there and you're like this. You either be waiting for the next commercial, or you're going to be waiting for the next Frank West mini little interview that goes on after every commercial of the film. So this movie is not on a higher scale than other game licensed movies. We've got Silent Hill and Doom. It's just a bit higher than that. And it's hard because Silent Hill and Doom are still pretty bad. Movies based off a video game are normally bad in general. For some reason, stories are never followed. Games are they completely take little ideas out of games and put it into this whole brand new movie when they could just take the entire story that was presented in the game it's trying to represent and make a full-fledged movie out of that game. But they don't do that. They want to create, I think this is going to be a better idea, which it shows. It never is a better idea. When have I ever seen a movie with its own storyline written that's better than the actual game story itself? Never. That's when. Why do people not learn? Why do people not learn that don't try to make it your own? You're making this movie off of this game. People want to see the game in a movie form. That story. They don't want to see your whole brand new idea. Save your own ideas for a graphic novel or a comic book. It's very slapstick comedy in this movie, if you want to call it that. I could easily see a lot of these things being done by Bruce Campbell. If Bruce Campbell wasn't already busy doing his Evil Dead show that's going to come out on the Stars, I'm pretty sure Bruce Campbell would have did a better job playing Frank West. I'm just saying. Imagine that. You want to see someone act pompous and sarcastic and make it funny at the same time. That's Bruce Campbell. Go watch My Name is Bruce. The only time I've ever seen a movie that has to do with video games and horror in the same time and actually be good is one that's not even based off a video game at all, and that's Stay Alive with Frankie Muniz. That's pretty bad that I can only say that's the only good one I've seen. Street Fighter sucks. Mortal Kombat sucks. Dead Rising isn't very good. Doom really freaking sucks. What the heck? The only part of that was the freaking Rock that was good and his two-liners that he does. Mario Brothers really sucks. Silent Hill sucks. Silent Hill 2 Revelations really sucks. Resident Evil, the first one, it was up here high when it started, and as the movie progressed, and then all the sequels after that were just down the toilets at that point. Overall, what can I say? Dead Rising Watchtower was a good attempt, I suppose. Not horrible in the fact that the story was really bad. It's just the actors were just not there. I could give less of a crap if anyone died in the film. The only good part of it was watching the little sarcastic parts of Frank West, which were not enough. I thought going in this movie was going to have Frank West in the actual film doing things instead of just in a newsroom saying sarcastic shit to me the entire film. So if I'm going to give this movie a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to say it's balancing between a 5 and a 6. So I'm just going to go outright and say it's a 5. It's average at best. There are very small times where you're going to get comedy. There are a lot of fan services. That's the only really redeeming quality about this film, is that everything that you've ever seen in one of the games is practically in this film. Not to mention the State Farm guy playing the lead general that's gonna bomb an entire city. The whole time, anytime this guy did a speech or he was talking, I was waiting for him to say,
"At Christmas, there was a lot of driving over the river and through the woods.
This city wouldn't be bombed if you had...
Doubling our chances of changing your pants.
You wouldn't be a zombie right now if you had...
Cash off your renewal bill for every 6 months you don't have one of these. It's time to make the world a better place to go to jail. That's all states stand."
Not to mention, there are plugs actually within the movie for Dead Rising 3 and Microsoft, because this is an Xbox exclusive movie. So you're not going to see it on your PlayStation's Crackle app. You're not going to see it anywhere else unless it comes out on DVD or gets pirated to the internet or something, but don't do that. Why would you want to do it? Basically, a movie that came out way too late to get hype up for the game. Basically, that's what it is. Dead Rising is such a random idea and such a random thing for a movie. I don't know. Well, what was the idea and planning behind this? It doesn't make me want to get Dead Rising 3. In fact, it makes me want to stay away from Dead Rising 3 even more. I've seen gameplay footage of what the game actually looks like compared to your trailer that you have playing almost every 5 minutes, it seems like, throughout the movie since it's on Crackle. And they do not look the same. Highly rendered trailer with a cutscene and actual gameplay footage, you're not fooling me. Overall, if you're an average moviegoer, stay away from the film. If you're a zombie film fan, go see it. If you just like to watch movies based off your video games, then go check it out. That's all I can really say about it. You got my score. That's my quick review of this entire film, and I'll see you on the next game review.